Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Phase Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here watching some 86. We got some comments here today, so let's see what people got to say. We got Sage from the episode Let's Go saying the full tattoo or brand on Snow Witch was transcribed in the books and is a bit too 18 plus for TV, I suppose. I can't imagine. Thank you.
I will admit that I've spoiled that for myself. Back when we saw
I,
a couple of words, I went to an AI, like ChatGPT,
yeah.
and I was like, give me every combination of words that this could spell. And it worked. I mean, it didn't work. It sucked at it. It sucked at it.
It
Yeah.
invented new words.
Well, no, it was like there's an apostrophe here, or something like that. And it was like forming words that ignored the apostrophe, right? It would look like, here's a word, just leave the apostrophe there, but don't ignore the fact that the apostrophe means anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I ended up just like trying to find more and more hints to try and give the chat GPT until I just fucking stumbled across it.
There we go. One mystery that you've solved and will remain a mystery for me.
Hopefully.
Uh, OLEV23 from the same episode, Let's Go, says, for out of show knowledge that won't be explained within the show, the four elite squadrons, really execution squads, are one to a front of the war. The eastern front is Spearhead, the northern one is Sledgehammer, the western one is Longbow, and the southern one is Razor Edge.
Others known as the safe zone, according to the battle map.
One of these is not like the other thing.
In this one instance, you want to be living on the razor's edge.
Oh gosh, I got 90s music in my head now. Before we get that, before I start singing, Cranberry says from the episode Let's Go as well. The hanging ghosts are actually a Japanese rain-chasing charm. Karina's reference is when she said it was something Kai used to do to chase away the rain. They're called Teru Teru Bozu. They're hung to prevent rain. That worked for a while, and then they got caught in a rainstorm, didn't they?
Well, I mean, they left it at the base, remember? That's the only thing they left of themselves, other than, I guess,
Hmm.
Shin's book and the pictures and everything they wrote on the inside, or they left in a page inside the book.
Right, right. So let's go ahead and see Theta. You always got a whole bunch of thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Actually, I only have like two thoughts, but then I have something else
Oh,
to cover the other missing thoughts that I didn't have.
yeah, let's go ahead and fill in that brain space. What do you got today?
In the opening, Lena touches the wall of names that we saw last episode, implying that she gets pretty deep into enemy territory.
Huh, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, okay.
Well, it's not a thought, it's literally in the opening.
I guess the question is, of course, as usual, is the opening literal and it's gonna happen, or is it metaphorical and we're seeing ideas of things?
We've literally stopped seeing a map of Earth, so it seems like somebody contacted, the opening credits department.
Mm-hmm. So I may be leaning towards more, it might not actually happen, but it'll happen maybe in spirit.
I think it's going to happen. I think that's the entire reason to show it.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're going to meet. Like, it's
Yeah.
entirely possible she's there at the wall, all sad and everything, because Shin and company die before she ever sees them again, and she's seeing their names on this wall.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So what else you got?
Trying to figure out Eugene's death. His mech is crumpled next to a tree that's broken in half, with him lying next to the mech, and it looking like the other half of the tree had fallen on him. When Shin went to grab the picture of Nina from the locket, he had to get up from Eugene's body and walk a ways away to pick it up from Eugene's hand. My thing
Yeah.
is, I don't see any real damage done to his mech, and we discussed how they seem more heavily armored than the old juggernauts. Um, Mind the evident weakness of the belly armor. So it would be incredibly hard to get launched from one without any obvious damage. The alarm's going off in my head. is that the worry that he got himself killed trying to imitate Shin, doing some move
Mhm.
that the older mechs can't do without damaging themselves, and that Shin will be blamed for it. They were already having conversations about him being the Reaper, questioning how he's already in charge. Sorry, of the Nordlicht unit, despite only being a lieutenant rank, and even
Mhm.
questioning how his superior officers were killed. The fact that Eugene was friends with that red-haired kid Marcel that warned him about Shin just makes it seem like Shin's going to have problems from his side now too.
I guess Shin's reputation goes with them, but it would be an extra layer of like perfect guilt to say like, "Oh, I inspired someone to be more like me and they killed themselves trying." Oh, that's a good bit of drama. I'm not sure we're there, but my guess would be more how he died, a penetrative shot. The mech looks fine because most of the armor didn't like blow off or anything. There's probably like a single hole somewhere, scattered shrapnel into the interior, and well, obviously he's dying now.
Well, spoiler alert for the second half of all of this. It
Oh
does get
yeah.
answered in the second half. That was a comment that I wrote after watching the show. That was my
Oh,
thoughts. Here's what we're going to do for the second half.
let's go.
Some quotes from the author that were tweeted around the time of the last couple of episodes.
Hell yeah, tweets, let's do it.
Shiden's Juggernaut. Did you notice its color is a little different? Her unit is an experimental night raid unit, and so its armor is plating its color different. Do hold back on pointing out that the Republic that all you did was just change the color.
I mean, they kind of stated some of that in show, right? I feel like it.
No, I don't think it did. I think
Ooh,
that's just
okay.
insight from the author.
Hmm.
The Black Cat, aka Tippy. It it finally has a name. Its fur looks much healthier compared to the 86th sector. Makes you want to cry. Incidentally, Tippy/TP is a shortening of Thermopylae, as in the Battle of Thermopylae. The cat is named after a location. If you might recall, I looked up Tippy was another word for Iron Curtain or Iron Wall or something like that. So
Hmm.
that was wrong.
Yeah, you tried. But that doesn't bode too well. I am picturing where this is going now. We're gonna have our 386ers, you know?
Or, just a few of them in a tight location where the
Mhm.
enemy's numbers will count for shit.
Right, exactly.
The environment suits. Like Ernst said, it's just to be on the safe side. The Legion don't produce biological weapons. The risk of letting weapons that can't distinguish friend from foe is obviously huge, and letting the Legion produce them could cause a great deal of danger, so the Empire placed a strict prohibition on them producing these. It was so strict that the Legion might classify a human carrying a single knife as in being violation of the prohibition. This placed the Imperial Army in the odd position of not being able to deploy human soldiers with the Legion. Of course, the Federacy, which opposed the old Empire, treats it as a funny anecdote by now.
Hmm. That is an interesting perspective into how the Legion came to be and a little bit of the funny stuff that we've noticed. Like the people who are missing but no actual frontline damage kind of stuff. Very, very interesting.
The Federacy's racial distribution, if you're not picking it up, there's typically a first line, here's what this post is about, and then the post.
Yeah, yeah.
The Federacy's racial distribution. It's actually really complicated. Asato handed the anime staff the materials with regards to the Federacy's racial composition, thinking they'd really struggle to adapt it, but they did it really well. Do note the difference between the Federacy soldiers' ranks and their eye/hair color.
We're gonna have to observe that going in. I think we haven't dwelled too long on everyone else or like the higher command structure yet. We don't
All,
have
I-
like the cast of characters we saw
all
initially.
I've really noticed has been Eugene and Marcel. One has the hair coloring of an Alba, and Marcel
Mhm.
has red hair, because that's what I literally mentioned him.
Yeah.
Paperwork. As you can see in episode 12's A part, the Republic uses paper documents. The Federacy, by contrast, uses electronic documents, tablets, and the like. Cultural differences manifest even in the little details.
I don't think it's that the Republic couldn't do it. I thought they were just kind of doing it because they wanted to do the cheapest thing possible with the
Well,
86ers.
consider for a moment, Griff, that how we consider Japan to be like the high point of technology, right? And that they still
Sure.
constantly use fax machines and do paperwork over there instead of all the high tech shit that we attribute to them.
Hmm.
So that would be a cultural thing in this respect.
Okay.
Life in the Gileadian capital. Ernst wanted them to experience the joy of choosing what you want, getting it, and cherishing it. That's why he gave them the kind of allowances teens living in an affluent household might get. Hence
Hmm.
their different outfits. Raiden only got a job because he wanted to.
Yeah, I guess he just kind of wanted to go out, do some work, do something. That checks out. I guess that's just a personality quirk then. Everyone else seems to be pretty fine vibing around.
School. Compulsory education in the Federacy only lasts until primary school. After that, it's optional and costs the citizens money. But the Federacy is a young country that was only founded 9 years ago, and they're in the middle of the Legion War. So, in frontier regions, will be expanded upon later, that are further away from the capital, some towns don't even have primary schools built yet.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this territory of the world. I'm not entirely surprised.
Provisional President. As such, the education standard isn't uniform, and many Federacy citizens are illiterate. So
Mhm.
until a proper election can be held, Ernst serves as provisional president. The population just isn't on a level to hold presidential elections yet.
Yeah, I can see that. If most of your population can't read, they can't pick up the latest news as easily, and then they can't actually make a proper decision. They're just going to be at the whim of political personality, right?
There's an element of me that loves the idea of you having to take a test before you can vote that determines your ability to vote. But there's
Hmm.
also an element of me that knows the history of
Yeah, yeah.
of election. God, there's a video that I watched about Tennessee election tests where it
Hmm.
was literally made to be as confusing as possible, to the point that there is no real right answer. It's just designed so that the test giver can make
Can
you.
assign whatever they want, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. So I do like the concept of you have to be at least of this, like, you should take a test about how the government works that at least verifies that you know the
Hmm.
basis of which things you're electing. And sure, this person believes in this, but they don't. Do they have any reasonable ability to get the change that they wish to get done? That sort of
Hmm.
shit. Stuff that's not the racist shit from the '60s. Stuff that's verifiable by today's standards. Maybe like peer-reviewed tests.
Ultimately, it does come down to you can't really put a barrier on it, but here it sounds more like they don't want to hold an election.
I mean, technically you can, Griff. Just ask the Republicans and say your own state. But I
It's my
just
curse
mean,
to deal with.
I don't know. I've always leaned towards a meritocracy versus a straight up democracy. Not everybody should really have a say, Griff. I say I should not have a say. I would like people better than myself to have a say.
The simple answer I have is that politics is about your life, and whether or not you can read or write, you still have an opinion to how your life should be.
Politics, Griffin, is not about my life. Politics is about an interplay between people with a lot more power bases than I have, basically jerking each other off to one another.
If you don't have
Politics.
an opinion on how things should be, then you're probably not voting for anybody, is what I'll say.
Sure. Probably. Anyway, moving on. Special Officers Academy. Eugene went to middle school, but didn't continue to high school. Instead, he decided to enroll in the Special Officers Academy, a special officers school which Shin and Co. would later attend too. It's a Federacy facility for training military officers, but as the word special implies, it's different from other military schools in the Federacy. Normal military academies accept people who'd finished their higher education and takes years to train them. The Special Officers Academy, by contrast, is open to those who'd finished their secondary education. It offers them minimal training, expecting that they pick up the rest on the job. In other words, it's a facility to quickly churn out young officers. The Federacy is simply that pressed for soldiers and officers.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. I think we've had some discussion before, drawing the comparison to the way America presses people into services they want to go to college. This is a different scenario here, but they're clearly using education or the lack of it as a tool to push people into this career path and then thus kind of dispose of them.
Well, I mean,
Is this more or less cruel? Let's
not to
find
bring
out.
him up for the third time today, but it does ring of Hitler Youth, right?
Hmm. I can't disagree with that. We got to see where it goes, I think.
I'm not saying the Federacy is bad. I'm just saying that it's the same kind of tactic, just without the
Mhm.
fascism behind it.
Right. Well, I mean, that'd be more like the Boy Scouts, I suppose.
No, because the Boy Scouts isn't dependent upon your education level. You have I can't. You have Cub
But the Boy
Scouts.
Scouts is a paramilitary structure meant to instill patriotism into you and get you on the pathway to becoming a militant
No,
citizen.
I would say it's more like oh, what are they called? They're in middle to high school. They're literally we'll train you in the military shit.
ROTC.
Yeah, they're more like ROTC. The Boy Scouts is like survival training, but they're not directly affiliated with the military. Where the ROTC is literally, hey, we'll take you from high school and literally start teaching you the military shit.
It's all a case of degrees, I think.
Well, yeah,
All the examples here, I think, are on the same line.
well, I because Boy Scouts aren't tied to your education or directly to the military. They're an independent institution that
They're
also.
ancillary, but serve a similar purpose or idea in
I think the
execution.
ROTC is the direct thing because it's literally tied into your school program and is also directly connected to the military.
But theoretically, ROTC is not teaching you an ideology.
Yeah, it is.
Hitler Youth definitely
The
is.
ROTC is literally training you to join the military. How is that not ideological?
I guess,
That's literally patriotism in a nutshell.
again, going back to the way that you should live versus this is the career path you should go kind of deal. Again, not that it's not influential or important, just that it is, again, a matter of degrees, right?
Yeah, I think it's just a point of a point on a compass that we're just going to disagree on. I think one is a
Mhm.
direct comparison. You think is the other is a direct comparison. Eugene, Shin's first friend in the Federacy. His name isn't Eugene as a play on the Japanese word Eugene, friend, though, which I didn't know either. As such, writing My Friend Eugene gave the author a headache each time, which I guess would be My Friend Friend. If you've noticed, he's got white hair. He's an Alba. Much like Lena, he's a noble Selena at that. In the old empire, Selena were low-ranking nobles, and Eugene's family were indeed low-ranking nobles. Since the war was going on while the empire was overthrown and turned into the Republic, The high-ranking nobles who managed large corporations hung on to much of their authority. By contrast, low-ranking nobles who had little assets to begin with lost all of their fortune. When creating Eugene's character, he was given two traits: an older brother with glasses to evoke Ray, and a serious, diligent Alba to evoke Lena. He was a character meant to invoke memories of those two influential people in Shin.
On the what happened to all of the old nobility, uh, basically kind of reflects the real world too. Some of the largest and most profitable bankers or investors, like over in France, are still people who used to be from old nobility families and had lots of money. The the English royal family is still the wealthiest family in their country. Things like that.
Oh yeah, because they're good for tourism.
Abolished monarchy anyway, but
I don't
no,
know.
the
I
the
like the
nobility of old
you've
definitely lives on in the transition of these things through becoming these corporations and passing those things down.
you've tried
The
to
means of
insult me in
inheritance
the
power are different, but
you've
they
tried
are
to
the
insult me
same.
in the past script by calling me a monarchist for no reason, by the way, because I've never implied it before. But I will say I like the idea of the monarchy, not as a ruling power, but as like I don't know, celebrities with a history. Like you can watch celebrities and like, oh god, I love that actor, and then 40 years from now when he's like doing old man parts, I really liked him in the past when he did this. What are
People elected Arnold to governor. I mean, this can happen.
yeah, he wasn't that bad. But the point being is that what's a monarchy? Just a celebrity with a line, right? It's a line of history.
A whole lot of extra things that honestly will take a long while to go over. So let's go to the
Well, I'm
next
not
part.
asking you the history of the monarchy,
Yeah.
Griff. I'm talking about if they, like, say the Japanese monarchy post 1950, right?
Mhm.
It's just a representational celebrity status, kind of like what they were pre the Meiji era, if you think about it. Back when it was the daimyo that controlled everything, and the emperor was just a position of, almost godhood, but like not in control.
Yeah, but here, like to our show, if that person today were to suddenly be told you cannot call yourself the emperor anymore, you no longer have any association to the state, they're still a person with lots of money, right? What do you think they're doing
I
next?
don't actually know about the monetary value of, say, the emperor of Japan.
Yeah, it's one I'm less familiar with too.
I think
What do you got
I think
next?
even the state owns all of their property. They're just allowed to live there. That sort of thing. It's not like the British
Mhm.
monarchy. Adel Adler. Frederica's real family name and the name of the imperial family of the Gadian Empire. The name means noble eagle, and the Gadian national symbol, being the double-headed eagle, stems from this. Incidentally, Augusta
Yep.
simply means empress. It's not so much a name as it is a title derived from the female form of the ancient Roman Emperor Augustus.
Yeah. The etymology of that checks out.
I mean, we've also already seen the flag during the breakdown of the flashes I went through, where it looked like soldiers were walking over a flag.
Yeah. Honestly, going over this just reminds me how hard it is to actually name characters. It is the thing I struggle the most at when I do my writing. I'm just like, oh, what am I going to name it? It's like, what's the most on the nose thing I can do? Ah, yes, I'm going to call the traitor Backstabbington.
Well, the trick I usually employ is find a character that you like in media that
Hmm.
embodies all of those traits and just twist up that name, because it also helps you remember the traits you want the character to have. Like, if I want this.
Right, that's informed naming. It's the same thing as saying, like, the person who controls the water is going to be called Rain or something, you know?
Well, no, I would say something more like the person who controls the water, I'm going to base on the guy from Fury Road.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
become addicted to water, my friends. And then I would just try to find a naming scheme that reminds me of him so that I know when I'm role playing him what he should sound
Hmm.
like and what his attitude should be, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The Vanguard. The Vanguard. The Confederacy's prided third generation Feldrib polypedal armored weapon has a 120 millimeter caliber gun, two HMGs, which I don't know what that stands for, heavy machine
Heavy machine
guns,
gun.
yeah, and heavy composite armor. It's the backbone of the Confederacy's armored forces, packing both heavy firepower and firm armor. The book slash anime calls it sluggish, but the Vanguard has a cruising speed of nearly 100 kilometers per hour and is a match for the Legion's low in terms of armor and firepower. But it's a manned unit and limited when it comes to sharp turns and acceleration, so its overall mobility is inferior to the low. And since
Mhm.
it's so heavily armored, it weighs 50 tons. In that regard, Shin doing a backflip and that heavy machine with that heavy machine is impressive.
Yeah.
But it makes sense he got scolded for it. It's surprising Eugene didn't get hurt. It's piloted by two people. During training, Shin was operator and Eugene was the gunner. The gunner doubles as the unit's commander, hence Eugene being the driver, and his commander was the gunner during the B part. The
Mhm.
parallel two seat is an anime original edition.
I guess for anime editions, being able to pair up characters is a good idea in general for like storytelling, right?
Well, especially if you don't care later on. Like
Mhm.
later on, you're going to put Shin in a one seat prototype. It doesn't matter what the other thing is doing if you don't put any main characters in it.
Mhm.
The Juggernaut's cruising speed. It's considered better than a treadmill tank, but for how slow it often gets called, it can move at 60 kilometers per hour. But since it's up against low, which move at 100 kilometers per hour, and Grawwolfs move even faster than that, it's slow by comparison.
I think we did actually mention the actual speeds just like a moment ago. Like 120 kilometers is still like 60 miles an hour. And that's like the fastest thing we have in the show, is it?
The new Confederacy model, third generation Confederacy thing, whose name
Yeah.
I've yet to pronounce correctly.
Yeah, if everything is slower from there, we're gonna have like high speed 30-mile-an-hour chases, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, considered against somebody on foot, that's still pretty high speed.
True.
The fastest I've ever run Griff, I think, is 18 miles per hour.
I'm probably slower than
Well, that
that.
was me gripping onto the back of a car that was moving. That's how I know how
Mhm.
fast I was going. Marcel. His full name is Erwin Marcel. His name is derived from a book by Erwin Rommel. He was Eugene's friend in middle school and knows his little sister Nina. Asato liked him so much he got promoted a regular cast member and finally got insert art in Volume 7. Incidentally, Marcel and his classmate gossiping about the new unit killing a dozen pilots during its tests was rather embellished. It sent
Mhm.
10 people to the hospital, which is still plenty dangerous, though.
Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see like people turning that into it's like, oh, I killed them all just to scare people for fun.
We won't let them take us away. This line from the B part refers to the Legion, of course. The Confederacy is aware of the Legion pillaging brains from corpses. If anything, it's strange the Republic forbade the collection of corpses for years and never noticed. The hand, the rocket, the realization it's detached, the blood puddle. In the novel, Eugene gets hit with an EFP round, like the one from episode 9. Even a
Mhm.
Vanguardner can't take that.
So he got shot by the biggest possible thing, and that's why he's dead. Okay, there we go. We got our answer now.
Again, doesn't hold up to my my questioning from before of why doesn't it look like there's any damage done to the thing.
Uh,
Greth, a lieutenant colonel from the Confederacy and the superior officer for Shin's group. As she said, she developed a new model in pursuit of Beldrib. Sorry, I don't know what the weird
I
B thing is because it's never come
yeah,
up in my learning of another language. So
yeah.
Feldrib that are quicker than the Vanguard. In other words, look, a lot of these words just sound like a stroke for me.
Look, I go through it all the time. I'm just having enjoyment listening to you try.
In other words, she's 10% of the reason the rain leaf become a pilot crusher. She wears lipstick and makeup for a reason, so that even if the war goes south, her subordinates don't see it on her face. She's 10 years older than Shin, placing her in the same age as Ray.
Have we seen that character?
Yeah. Remember, she's the
Huh,
one
okay.
that takes them out to the field with the wall and
Yeah, yeah.
the place where Fido was left, and then says, "Hey, we rebuilt Fido."
Yeah, okay, okay. I got that in my head now. So now we are on the lookout for her hiding everything.
All right, and our last one here,
Let's do it.
Reagan Leaf, Shin's new unit. Despite its weight of just over 10 tons, it boasts explosive output and stresses the high mobility granted to it by its efficient power system. Its armor is minimal and can only block machine gun fire due to weight considerations. In Shin's configuration of the Reagan Leaf, the primary armament is an 88mm take turret. Do not call it the Act, which I guess is a joke on AT-AT. Since it's a test unit, it has a selection of primary armaments. If you want to see what they are, keep watching the show or purchase the Plamos, which I don't know what a Plamos is. What
Is a
set?
plot synopsis?
I assume it's like a toy or something,
Okay.
like Gunpowder, maybe. I don't know. What sets it apart what sets it apart the most from the Juggernaut is that its legs are equipped with a fixed armament in the form of 57mm pile drivers. They cannot be used when clinging to surfaces, but they're capable of piercing a Lowe's top armor and fell it with a single blow.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a few times, haven't we?
I don't think so. We've only seen them
Hmm.
fight once, and
Okay.
that's when Shin was using the blades. So remember, we come
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to the Newton the Lev counterpart. It was like,
Hmm.
don't use the blades all the time. I think pointedly they said that the big difference is that the Juggernaut doesn't have guns in the feet and this one does. But I think pointedly the biggest difference is this thing can withstand gun shooting at it,
Yeah.
whereas the other one is just full of holes. The Juggernauts are full of holes where they've been shot at because they can't withstand gunfire.
Right. It's fun actually seeing our main characters actually have good equipment. We'll see how long that lasts. So, I think with that being the last of them, let's just go quickly over what happened last time on Glad to Be Here, where, thanks to their experience, Shin and his friends managed to pass officer training and are assigned to the Nordlicht Squadron under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Greth Wesnell. Greth takes Shin and his friends to a location recently reclaimed by the Confederacy, where they have recovered their wrecked juggernauts and erected a memorial dedicated to all the names Shin had gathered. Greth also reveals that when they recovered Fido's wreckage, they found its core still intact, so they built it a new body. Federica joins the unit as well as their official mascot, and she returns Shin's handgun to him. Shin and Nodoc soon begin assisting the Confederacy forces by piloting the Ragnaleaf mechs, based on the Juggernaut design. During the fighting, Shin reunites with Eugene, another Confederacy officer who he befriended before signing up, who joined the army to make a better life for his sister. However, after a Legion attack, Shin comes across a mortally wounded Eugene and is forced to mercy kill him. Afterwards, Shin receives word that the battle is going poorly and to prepare for yet another Legion attack.
I was honestly about to say that maybe we didn't have to read that, given the fact that everything I went over from the author's post were from the last couple of episodes, including the one we just did.
Well, I forgot a couple of details. I wanted to have the picture in my head of exactly where we are, and I think like the end point is actually a good thing to go back over. Things aren't good. We got our 86ers here. They're our heroes. They gotta turn all this around, right?
Well, I mean,
Right?
as I said in my own thoughts before I started reading the author's thoughts,
Uh-huh.
that the other people within their unit don't believe them to be heroes. That they're going to start to get problems from the inside as well as out.
Right. This is now normally I would say this is where I would say this is the point for them to prove that they are heroes or that they will become them and change everyone's opinions, turn the thing around. This is this is a heroic moment in the story, or a chance for it to happen. But we're also watching 86, a show where people keep dying, things are terrible, and they only keep getting worse. So, we gotta see how that plans out, I
I
think.
don't think you can fundamentally change the nature of the world.
Well, I mean, that's... Is that a personal opinion, or is that an opinion on the show and how it works?
I would say Griff is clearly going to argue with me when I say this. I don't think you can fundamentally change the nature of the world, and I think you're a fool to think you can.
But I'm a fool. He'll keep on trying.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
and
we
so
all
are
we all work
86ers, I think.
ourselves to death in one way or another, right?
I think in some way our 86ers want to, and they're making steps towards it. They want to at least finish this war, right?
I don't know that they want to. I know that they're accustomed to the life in which they've lived. They
Well, like their
couldn't
entire
they couldn't
motivating factor
settle.
is their guilt, right?
No, they could remember the Shins. We've only seen that from Shin in his nightmares. But we've seen that they can't settle into a normal life, and they want to return to the battlefield because that's the life they're accustomed to, and said that they're obligated to do. So it's
Right,
not so
that's the
much.
one.
Yeah, it's not so much that they want to change the world. It's so much more. I get more of this feeling that they feel like they're obligated to die on the battlefield.
Hmm. Uh, I feel like that's a motivating factor for them to try, though. Like they've expressed why they want to do it. I feel like they have motivation to do so. They aren't just going back out there to die
I would
because they
agree
don't
with
know
you
anything.
in the instance that any one of them had said, "Don't worry, I'll protect you," or "Don't worry,
Yeah,
we'll win this war," or anything of that nature, which they've never said. At best,
right.
they've said, "Hey, once we're dead, Lena, go off toward this direction. I hear people might still be alive out there." Their entire emphasis has been, "We're gonna die out there. It would be
Mhm.
disingenuous if we didn't to everyone else that died out there."
So
Never been about winning. It's just
so
been about dying.
let's go with the Theta perspective. Nobody's gonna win. The world isn't going to change, and everyone is gonna die. I say, let's give a watch and see if it happens.
Well, a wiser man than me once said, war never changes.
And with that, let's go ahead and watch. But before we do, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can go ahead and follow us over on Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below. Join the Discord. Tell me if you also believe that Ron Perlman is a wise man.
Here we go, the front lines.
ラストおいちゃんと読んだか
Why would he have to?
Okay, so it was Fido doing the paperwork and his foot keeping the paper in place.
明日
Yup.
全員揃うらしいぞ
That's working efficiently there.
俺たちのこの扱いはなんとかならねえのかねこいつは所詮試験運用だからな昨日もだいぶやられたがお前の予測じゃそろそろ来る頃合いかいやいつ来てもおかしくないかな
Why all the crows, though?
I suppose they're symbolic.
Well, wouldn't that be vultures then? What do crows symbolize? We know they're
Crows
not near
can
the
also
ocean.
eat meat.
Due to Eugene, we know they're not near the ocean, so it wouldn't be albatross. Yeah, but
Right,
crows are
right.
known for like being intelligent birds and everything, not like symbolizing anything negative.
Well, I mean, I guess like having a blackbird is, or any black creature is supposed to symbolize like, yeah, things are bad and you're probably gonna die.
Uh, those words, Griff, those words.
Look, people have entire supernatural mythologies about how bad black cats are bad luck. People associate that with death, okay? That's the narrative stuff we're dealing with.
I don't know. Black cats are just bad luck, not death. You gotta have
I
a
guess it
pretty,
depends on if you think seeing a witch is gonna like kill you or not, right?
you gotta have a pretty pessimistic view of the world to think bad luck equals death.
I was unlucky once. I'm gonna die. Yeah. But then again, I suppose supernatural superstitions and like ominous things aren't supposed to be fair. They're just supposed to be dramatic.
Supernatural superstitions versus those other superstitions.
Yeah, the real superstition.
通信量の増減、自走索敵機が捉えた情報などの分析結果から、やはりレギオンが近日中に大規模攻勢に移る可能性は高いというのが統合分析室の判断です。ついに来るか。
It's me.
Nice meeting room.
I'm here.
なんだベンツェル中佐。
少々閣下。備えるにあたり、各部隊も再編成となるのでしょう。この機にぜひ私の部隊を返していただきたく。
レギンレイブはまだ試験中だ。単独運用に耐えうるかは未知数である以上、これまで通りバナルガンドとの混成運用が妥当だろう。
お言葉ですが閣下、ノルトリヒト戦隊
So effectively slowing them down.
第8軍団全体で見てもトップクラスの水準です。
We're doing the best. Have us do something.
ふるいにかけられたとお考えください。
Oh, that's brutal.
あのような哀れな子らを再び戦場に送り込みよって巻き返しに必死な死の商人が。
That is some good harsh criticism.
MX2 レギンレイブは
Well, you remember the guy from last time too, who thanked them for giving Eugene a swift death.
あえて戦術の基本に背いた少数精鋭による対多数戦闘も必要なのではありませんか。我らが連邦と人民の安寧のため、我がレギンレイブとノルトリヒト戦隊の正しい運用をぜひともご検討いただきたく。少々閣下。
She's trying to make like an entire operational change as an argument. It's like, okay, I think we have some backing for this after witnessing an entire season, right?
I don't think you reorganize your entire military over the one exception the Republic made.
I also like how he's like, you're dealing with the weirdest of them all. Hope you enjoy.
ここの方が気楽だ。
無様な指揮で俺たちを殺さなきゃ言うことはないんですが、たとえそいつがクソ不愛想なクソガキで指揮官のくせに先陣切りたがるバカで下手に同調してと気狂いそうになる死神でも。
Oh, that was...
少尉少尉。
Aren't you up early?
着替えてから出てこい。
キリ、髪をすいてたもん。
フレデリカ。
深夜、すまぬ、間違えたのじゃ。
I mean, she is being exposed to a lot of death.
悪い。
フレデリカちゃん。セオ君、軍服取ってきてあげて。
I just having her hurled across the room.
また届いてるそうですよ、プレゼント。86はかわいそうで痛いけな子供たちというイメージが一人歩きしているようですね。
全部処分で、もう確認を取らなくてもいい。
そうしたいんですけどね。形式ですよ。軍隊ってのは所詮不合理で非効率な人間の組織ですんで。
You gotta check your mail.
報告を終わります、戦隊長殿。
Just have it all donated then.
こちらの書類にサインを。
Frederica just isn't her until she gets her coffee.
誰がレディーだよ。
そもそも寝ぼけて半裸で徘徊してるのが一番問題だからな。
意外と位置が悪いのじゃな。
無理についてきて身支度もできなくなるなら本拠地に戻した方がいいかと、そういう話をしただけだ。
I mean, the mascot has to be with them, right?
Yeah.
てくれた方がこっちも気が楽だ。
そういうわけにはいかない。
Actually, I don't know what all the rules to the mascot stuff is, except, like, guess she has to be hang around. It's the narrative excuse more than anything right now.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if it's a rule thing, because remember, it's just an old tradition, not like a law. It's an old tradition they don't even like. She's just doing it.
まあ全員集合ったってほんのつかの間だ。
今日はこれから後片付けかな。
防御陣地の補修に鉄器や遊軍機の残骸の回収、それに遺体も。機構部隊はだいぶやられたみたいだから。紹介の方
It's like Marcel's out of the picture, but not dead, which is surprising.
かといって理由も説明できないし。
そうよね。
They already explained it as a screening process. Everyone's gonna be injured and leave, and it's just gonna be them.
Well, I mean, that's what their commander wanted anyway.
That's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they've got outposts and forward operating bases and not a city that's constantly under attack.
Or an old school that they decide to set up base in. Never mind.
どうかしら、少尉。気に入ってもらえて。
評価報告はパラレードのそれと合わせ提出していますが。
ええ、だから聞きたいのは感想よ。かつて共和国で同系統のフェルドレスを買ったあなたたちの。
あなたが作った方のジャガーノートについてでしたら。
レギンレイブよ。
ジャガーノート。
レギンレイブだってば。
ジャガーノート。
They're better than Juggernauts, don't insult her.
I feel like I'm just looking at you here, Theta. This is your type of
共和
argument.
国のジャガーノートよりは多少上等なアルミの棺桶です。
本当に？
え、もしかして分かってなかったの？
だってあれ、機動性だけで安全性まるで考えてないし。
プロセッサーの何人かはあれに食い殺されたようなものよね。
俺たちだからなんとか乗りこなしてるだけだ。
あんな作ったバカの正気を本気で疑いたくなるようなやつより多少上等。使う方もどうかしてるわよ。
あれしかありませんでしたから。
ああ、そう。
It seems more likely you'd get killed with the heavier ones, though.
確かにプロセッサーは選びますが、足が速いのはありがたいですし、速度の割に精度が強くて小回りも効きます。
そう。
Right, the maneuverability we were talking about before.
実際シンくん褒めてないわよね。
それなのにどうしてオペレーターを引き受けてくれたのかしら。
候補に加えたのは中佐ご自身と聞いていますが。
あくまでテスト要員としてよ。あなたたちのような少年兵が前線に出るのは私は本当は反対なの。
It's gonna suck if the Federacy's downfall is their humanity. Right? That this all comes around to that, oh, the Republic was right. This is the thing we needed to win the war. Was crimes against humanity.
Everybody learning the wrong lesson.
ノロマのバナルガンドのせいでもっと足の速いフェルドレスがあればって何度も思ったわ。レギンレイブを作らせたのもそのため。忌憚のない意見をありがとう、少尉。あなたたちも。次の回収ではもうちょっとマシな意見を言わせてみせるから期待していて。さて、
This is still nice.
At least they're still working on them.
Yeah, there's someone that cares about their survival saying, I'm going to do better.
それってどこ？
北と南の国。
士官学校で習ったじゃない。
そうだっけ？
ただ、それ以外の中米国や西のサンマグノリア共和国についてはまだ無線も捕まらないみたいだけれど。
They
What do you
know
think,
why.
Yeah, they think they lost? Oh, where'd you come from?
Oh, also the fact that they're using the para raids all the time, right? For their signals.
これを受け、西方方面軍は戦力増強と再編成を行います。我々1028試験部隊も正規の機構戦力として第177機構師団名下となり、私が直接指揮を取ります。
No.
我がレギンレイブと
Nordleak Squadron's the only one there. There's a supply unit. I think a couple of 3 or 4 supply units.
十分に迎撃できる程度と予測されているわ。そういえば、 あなたからも上心が上がっていたわね、ノーゼン少尉。興味深く読ませてもらったけど、やはり少尉の予測した敵の数は口頭無形だわ。統合分析室の予測を大幅に超えている。そんなに心配しなくても大丈夫。連邦は共和国とは違う。情報収集も分析も従前にしているし、なすべき備えもきちんとしている。何より連邦は決して共に戦う仲間を見捨てるような真似はしないわ。
We're also connected to the outside world, which is helpful.
But yet Shin, of course, here is sitting going, but you're wrong.
You think the crows are biological weapons of the Legion?
Oh, if they are, if the birds aren't real, I'm
Well, I mean, like the Legion's using them to monitor shit.
どうした？
We made mechanical butterflies, now we made realistic crows.
殺風景じゃの。写真なり絵なりの一枚も貼るがよいぞ。寒々しい。
寝るだけの場所だろう。物が増えると片付けるのが面倒。
I wonder if Welcome Back is literally just going to be them drawing parallels back to their previous service.
そこを空のままにしておくのは良いことではないわ。共和国ではそれでも良かったのかもしれんがの。友人の部屋は写真だらけであったぞ。
片付けを。
どこも人手が足りぬでの。少し遺品の整理を手伝ったのじゃ。妹君の写真ばかりであった。
友人と話さなければよかったな。そうすれば死ぬところなど見えなくて済んだ。
わらわはそうは思わん。
Oh, that's cold. Never form connections, you.
覚えておいてやれるからな。
There's a hard truth for you.
誰かの死になんて関わらない方がいい。
そなたがそれを言うか。お人よしの死神め。
何しに来たんだ？
She's got a point. She's out of line, but she's got a
すま
point.
じゃな。実は朝はすまなんだの。そのキリ。
ああ、そんなに似てるのか。
まあ、うり二つとまではいかなが。せかっこは。
Yeah, weirdly, everybody in this world is like 2 or 3 different people.
そなたと同じノーゼン一族のものじゃ。キリアはノーゼン公の直系ではなかったから、そなたと血は近くはないが、年はそなたより4つ上で、最後に見たときは今のそなたと同じ年じゃった。大人ばかりの要塞の中で、キリアだけが遊び相手だった。髪をすいて、庭の花を取ってきて、どんなわがままも嫌な顔一つせず付き合ってくれた。あやつと来たらまたとかく生真面目で融通の利かぬたちでの。もしそなたと出会っていたらさぞ不仲であったろうな。
She clearly needs it in the morning.
どっちだ？
A perfect drawing.
こっちだ。やれ人と話をするときは書物から目を上げろ。やれ規律と軍令はきちんと守れとやいの言うて。そなたはどうせ全部無視するのじゃろうから、それにまた怒って目に浮かぶようじゃ。
どうしてレギオンに？
わらわのせいじゃ。
Oh, the big backstory. Let's go.
我がギアーデ帝国はレギオンを用いて周辺諸国に戦争を仕掛けた。しかしその直後、市民たちの放棄により我々王室は辺境の要塞へと追われた。レギオンが兵士の代わりにわらわたちを守ってくれるはずじゃったのじゃが、そこは皮肉なものというか、まあ詳しい理屈はわからんの
Yeah,
じゃが、
what was the moment of
レギオンは人間と共闘するようにはできておらんら
Skynet,
し
right?
い。
Yeah.
要塞の防衛には人間の兵を使わざるを得なんだ。そしてキリアもわらわを守るため戦わざるを得なくなった。放棄した民どもとな。
the moment from the Flash.
そうじゃ。連邦軍
I was just like, the Legion, it's right outside the window. Get him.
No, I mean the Flash that we analyzed before. Of his memories.
やがて家族も知り合いも失い、生まれ育った故郷は今や敵地。共に戦うこの衛兵たちも櫛の歯が抜けるように死んでいって、おそらくキリアはなくしすぎたのであろう。そのうちわらわを守ることが全てとなり、連邦の兵士を踏み潰して 血みどろのフェルドレスを傍らにわらわに笑いかけることも珍しくなくなった。平然と晴れやかに。
That's
わ
brutal.
らわはそれが恐ろしかった。
Perfectly hidden
やがて
tear.
要塞は
I
陥
love
落
it.
し、わらわたちは連邦軍に捕まった。同じ戦場にエルンストが激励に来ていたのは全く幸運じゃった。おかげでわらわの
That's something I can really imagine there.
られたのは着ていた皇帝の
Or
マント
instead
だ
the
けで済んだ
lead
のじゃ
charge
か
of a
ら。
battle.
しかしキリアはそれを見てしまっていた。
Yep, the exact images from the Flash.
そしてその時、辺りをレギオンが戦闘に再利用可能なあらゆるものを探して這いずり回っておった。キリアは立ち尽くしたまま逃げなんだ。わらわがキリアをあのような化け物にしてしまった。そして結局帝国は滅び、多くの人々が死に、レギオンだけが残った。レギオンはじきに攻めてくるとそなたは言ったな。おそらくキリもその時に来るじゃろう。
This is a lot for her to be blaming herself for, understandably,
わ
right?
かっておらぬ。危のうなったら無理をせず引くがよい。忘れておったのだ。人はたやすく死ぬのじゃな。どれほど先を望んでいても。先ほどそなたの
Isn't that just the motto of the show? I forgot how
知り合うた
easily
者が
these
死
people
ぬのは
die.
わらわは嫌じゃ。
Yeah, no, Griff, we had a whole thing
キリ
about
を
that
救うた
in
め
the
に
pre-show
そなたや
discussion.
ライデンたちが犠牲
About how
に
the
なるで
world
は割
really
に合
is.
わぬ。そなたらには先がある。それを失わせてはならぬ。
先か。
やはり考えておらなんだな。まったく。
I swear to God, if we transition to another scene after this and she's fucking dead, like Eugene.
Smash cuts right to it.
そんなもので良いのじゃ。
Show literally just trying to rip our hearts out.
いや、いつか同じようなことを聞かれた気がする。
それで何と答えたのじゃ。
考えたこともないと。
なんと味
You've
気
said it every
な
time
そな
someone
た
said
は
it to
こ
you.
こまで寒々しい男じゃ。さぞがっかりしたであろう。その相手も。
Your mug has a handle, you could use it, you know.
さあな。なんだそりゃ。慕われてんな、お兄ちゃん。重ねてるだけだろ。ああ、九段の騎士にか。けど、お前の方こそそうなんじゃねえのか。ずいぶん入れ込んでんじゃねえか。そうかもしれないな。
That's why I threw her this morning.
同じだから昔の俺と。
That's just familial affection. You throw your siblings around. It's a family thing.
来るな、お姫様の回収を頼む。おい、ちょっといいか。上申なんか出してたんだな。伝えるだけは一応伝えておこうと思っただけだ。ここに来た時釘刺したはずだぞ。お前のその力については黙ってろって。戦闘中にあの声を聞かれて、それでお前がなんて呼ばれたか。
They already called you the Reaper here before you warned them. Pointless.
連邦の連中は連中自身が思ってるほど聖人君主ってわけじゃねえし、所詮ここでも俺たち86は連邦人と同格じゃねえ。人の脳みそ取り出したがんのは何もレギオンだけじゃねえんだ。お前がモルモットになるのは勝手だが、とばっちりで人質にされるのは俺はごめんだ。バカな真似すんな。悪い。あそこまで
That's a very rational, pragmatic outlook there.
信じる信じないは連中次第。ただ、お前大丈夫か？何が？
I'm never really going to agree with this place is no better than the Republic. Because that's stupid.
先のことか。ああ、フレデリカにはむしろ考えろと言われたけど、別に考えたことはないな。その必要もなかったから。お前は？なんとかなるだろうとは思うけどな。レギオンとやり合うよりは難しいことじゃねえだろうよ。こんぐらいの時間だったな、いつも。調査は元気でやってんのかね。
There you go. Change the subject. Make him feel better. Or try.
That represents something. I don't know
One
what.
less bird.
Yeah. Maybe it's not really a bird. Maybe
Alright.
it means something.
So there were 2 birds. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 and 1 is 11. 11 is a little bit off from 86.
Well, your math is already off. Because 1 minus 1 equals 1. No. Also, 2 minus 1 equals 1, but you wouldn't add 1 back because the bird didn't come back. So you never get to 11.
Right. Sorry, until we see more bird drone, I suppose, it's hard to, like, pin down what they're supposed to be here.
Okay, what do we got
How
here?
much metaphor, how much real.
2 minus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 0 equals 10. We have 5 members left remaining of the 5 members remaining of the spearhead group, but there were 8 people in the room when they were having the meeting, so 8 times 10 is 80, plus the original 5 members of spearhead plus Lena is 86.
There you go.
What does
You
that
got your
mean? Oh, the
numerology
map
on
is
point.
bigger. The map has more shit filled in. And
The war's going worse and worse.
less members of her team are there.
Oh, hey, we're getting Sympho gear next time.
But no, they're filling in the southern half. They're getting even more swallowed. I didn't have time to see if the forward operating bases. They're
You're gonna
86
put in your
bases.
thoughts next time for sure.
Well, of course. But I'm just saying, I didn't even notice that we had transitioned over to Lena because I was following your stupid math game.
Yeah, I guess, thinking about it, I was slightly on point. The welcome back of the episode literally is them drawing parallels to what they were used to in the first place. They're saying, like, oh yeah, it's maybe not all that different in the end. And of course, if Shin reveals his superpowers, he's gonna get, turned into a guinea pig.
I don't think so.
So-
I literally don't think that's how it would work here.
I
And
mean, I see the soft parallels to it. Like, obviously, I think you and I agree, this is a completely different experience here.
I don't
They are-
appreciate their whole they're not the saviors they think they are because they're treating you like kids because you're fucking kids. But at the same time, oh yeah, I can't tell them that what your powers are. They'll do the same thing to you that the Republic did. Yeah, killed all those kids in experiments. No, I don't think they would. They've literally developed their own version of the Pararaid based on the tech that you left behind and your notes about it without experimenting on anybody.
Right, this could all be very much just a pessimistic outlook on their part for what's happening. Because at least on the surface of everything, everyone is trying their best. They're trying to put forward that they care and that they are making these decisions, understanding that there's a terrible price to putting kids on the front line and stuff like that. But maybe to our 86ers here, that's not too different if they just end up in the same place they were anyway. No matter what people are saying to them, if technically they're right back where they started, what's the difference to them?
I mean, their point is mostly that they have as much agency here as they do in the Republic, which I would argue is also false. I think they have more agency here. It's just that they're getting talked back to versus the Republic, which wouldn't talk to them at all. Also,
Yeah, we
again, it
gotta
all
see them
falls
adapt.
back to the thing that we said in the beginning, that it's going to be humanity is going to be the fall of the Federacy, that they're too humane, that they're not going to be willing to throw the children at the front line. Well, I guess that's not true either, because we just discussed the whole special officer school, where they're literally training children to go to the front line. So I can't even. I just don't understand Shin's point here. It very much seems like the Federacy is the saviors we need, not the
I think
Republic.
we just need some time to like boil over the text and like get the full value out of this. Because we got a lot dropped on us, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go ahead and take some time to think it over and come back next episode, everybody. For right now, this has been Stoneface Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?